So of course these past few months have been very hectic for the meta. One month we have an OP Executioner, the next month we have an OP Witch, and then we get an OP Elixir Golem, and of course, well, this month it's kind of a mix of all that plus the battle healer. Now, I still believe that this meta is still quite a bit better than it has been these past few seasons, and I truly think that with just a few minor changes, the meta going into 2020 will definitely see a big improvement. Also, I know that, Sundays are usually Clash Worlds episodes, but there just wasn't enough content to make a full video. So, if you stay to the end of the episode, I'll go over the little that I do know about what the dev team could be cooking up. Now, before we get into the video, if you could leave a like and subscribe to my channel, also go check me out on Instagram and Twitter, and without further ado, let's get right into the list. Number 1. Night Witch. Death spawns from 4 to 3. So the Night Witch was a card that got a very spontaneous and rather unexpected buff. She got her death spawns doubled. Now this seemingly small change was actually a big buff for the card because, when she dies, every troop in the vicinity will retarget onto a different troop, allowing those bats to just do work when ignored. In addition, your opponents often have already used their small spell to take out the spawning bats that the witch normally does. So again, those death spawns are just going to be that much more effective. In fact, she's basically the main reason as to why the poison is the dominant spell by far. In previous metas where the Night Witch wasn't as prominent, Fireball is usually just as popular, if not more popular than the poison. But as you can see from usage rates in grand challenges, the poison has a staggering 42% use rate, while the Fireball has been pushed all the way down to 16%. So, how would I change the Night Witch? Well, I would just simply nerf her death spawns from 4 bats to 3. Again, it really doesn't seem that much, but 3 death spawns is going to be a rather good middle ground in between the old and the new witch. Number 2. Fisherman. Hook range increase. So the Fisherman was a card that I personally really enjoyed, and I hated seeing it be killed like it did in the past month. Now, what made the Fisherman special was the ability to manipulate troops all across the arena, no matter what the troop's mass was. Anything from a skeleton to a golem would be pulled with ease all the same. However, the other aspect that made him special was that range, being able to just yeet troops all the way across the arena. That made him a very unique card for many players, and the recent Fisherman hook nerf just took things a bit too far. You basically can't viably activate the King's Tower in most cases anymore, and well, it's just not its old self. So for the Fisherman, I think it's a pretty easy solution. That is, to increase his hook range from 6 to 6.5 tiles and change nothing else. Since his original range was 7 tiles, this, like the Night Witch, will give that happy medium between the old and the current versions of the Fisherman. This card will get a lot of his old King Tower activations and versatility back, while being just short of his previous dominance in the arena, so that he won't be that overpowered. Number 3. Battle Healer. Heal reduced. So, this new card, although many kept thinking that she was going to be overpowered, she actually isn't too bad. Sure, she had a very high initial use rate, but it's settled down a bit going into the second half of this month, and she's now sitting at just a 15% use rate at a 64% win rate. Now, this is still pretty high, and the healer is still definitely an S tier card in the meta without question, but I really don't think she's game-breakingly overpowered. Either way, she is seen in quite a few archetypes, and that heal aspect can be very situational and matchup independent. So what I want to do is to just decrease that healing a little bit. I think she serves a pretty great job as a brand new mini tank option, and she's definitely pretty fun to play with, but that heal aspect of her can just be a little too much when it comes to negating spells as well as other troops. Now, as for how much this heal will be reduced, I have no clue because I can't really test the changes myself. Either way, I think a slight tone down in that aspect would be perfect for the card, as a lot of players are now a lot more used to playing against the card and now also know how to counter her a little bit better. Number 4. Heal rework. Following the healer, the heal spell is on the exact opposite of the Clash Royale spectrum, at a staggering 0% win rate and an abysmal 0% use rate. That being said, a tier A heal spell is a very toxic card as well. It promotes a rock, paper, scissors meta, and frankly, nobody wants that. So I'm still going to be rather conservative for this change, but it's still going to be an interesting idea for sure. So here it is. Essentially, the amount that the heal adds will be increased very slightly. Again, for changes like these, I have no reference to test, but that's besides the point. In addition to that, I want the heal spell to last much longer. Right now, it lasts a total of 2 seconds, but I do think Supercell can make the heal a 3 or even a 4-second spell. So by combining the two changes, the heal spell in total will only receive a slight buff in how much it heals. However, the longer heal duration will accomplish two different things. First, it means that troops will have more opportunity to walk into the heal, so I guess in a way that would be a slight buff. However, a longer heal duration means that troops will heal at a much slower rate. This means that troops can still be taken out rather easily, even inside of the heal spell, as they won't be healed as quickly as they used to be. I think this sort of 1-2 combination of changes can, breathe a little bit of air into the heal spell and maybe give it just that little bit of versatility without going too overboard. That being said, Supercell has confirmed that a heal rework may be coming soon, so of course, stay tuned for that. Number 5. Fire Spirits. Splash Radius Increased. So if you've been following the channel for the past few months, you know that I really want to see those Fire Spirits receive a buff. In the past, it was a bit controversial because of course the Furnace was actually pretty popular, but now the Furnace ain't sitting too pretty, so I think that's even more of a reason to buff the Fire Spirits. So, the Fire Spirits are a card that sound very, very good on paper, right? A cheap 2 elixir card that can not just take out swarms, but also medium health support units with rather ease. But in reality, this just isn't the case. They're not very consistent, their splash misses critical units all the time, and so on and so forth. So I think an increase in the Fire Spirit's splash radius is a way to solve that issue. For just 2 elixir, we don't want these guys to be too deadly, but they're also super fragile and can really be taken out very easily. So an increased splash radius, I think, will do just the trick. Number 6. Elixir Golem. Death Elixir Rearranged. So I think the Elixir Golem is a very great concept. However, at the moment, despite the few previous nerfs, it still continues to be a top card and pretty dominant card in this meta. So here's what I propose. You know how, you only get the elixir from the Elixir Golem once you kill the elixir blobs? Well, I think we can kind of distribute that elixir throughout the golem a little bit more. So basically, when the 2 golem might split, you get 1 elixir for each split. And then, killing each of the elixir blobs will only get you half an elixir each. This means that killing the entire Elixir Golem will still give you 4 elixir like before, but you're just able to get some of that elixir a little bit earlier. The current Elixir Golem simply allows the user to spam everything at the bridge for such a cheap elixir cost with little to no repercussions until they've basically taken your entire tower. So by moving some of that elixir regeneration to a little bit sooner to when those golem might actually die, this means that the Elixir Golem users will have to be a little bit more cautious as to when they go in for pushes, as the people defending Elixir Golem will have a much easier time getting that extra elixir boost just a little bit sooner. So there we go, the 6 cards that I would like to see balanced in the January update. Of course, would I like to see all of them? Yes, but I don't expect too large of a round of balances in January. Now, for those of you who stayed all the way to the end of the video, or if some guy in the comment section was like, "Bro, skip to this part for some cool info," well, I've got a total of one hint about what could be coming, and it's that there will be a new card released early next year, according to Clash Royale's chief character designer, Bryce, who says, "Tomorrow I'll be finishing the Clash Royale character that will go out early next year." Very cool. And in a follow-up tweet, he says, "I'll hide a clue about Clash Royale's biggest character release of 2020 in the next character renders, and you can bet that I'll be paying very, very close attention to those renders." Anyways, that's all I've got. So unfortunately, guys, that's all I've got time for in today's episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, as well as a subscription to my channel. And as always, this is Legendaray, and I'm signing off. See you guys next time.